people. I got another video. I got another video. Okay. Um, the video before this last one, you know, yeah, spirits. I opened up and said, hey, right now we see things dimly. When Yeshua comes, Jesus comes, and he lights up the world, shows us, takes the blinders off, right? Then we can see. And I looked up, and I wish I could show you guys pictures of it, but you can go search this out. The limited amount of light that we can see. There's the ultraviolet, the blue scale, which is a slow wave, and then there's the infrared, which is red light, but we can't see it. That's your night vision, you know, and that's a very fast wave. It moves very quickly, right? So then okay, let's look up how much we can hear. 20,000 is almost the top of range that we can hear, okay? 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. And hertz is a scale of sound. Dogs, I didn't know this. They can hear your heartbeat. They have amazing sense of hearing. Sense of smell? Oh yeah. That's why they have all those dogs. You see them in the airports, whatever else, looking for these certain things. We can't detect it. They can. Okay? Their eyesight doesn't seem to be as good. Okay? I think cats have better eyesight. They can see in the dark. Okay? God sees everything. Nothing is hidden to him. Because he created everything. He said, let there be light. Okay? In the beginning, he said, let there be light. And he said he'd separate, you know, because before there was light, there was darkness, right? And he separated them. And where am I going with this? Well, Genesis 1, chapter 1, verse 3, right? God said, let there be light. And there was light. And God saw that the light was good. And then he separated the light from the darkness. And God called the light day and the darkness night. Okay? Can we see it in dark? Not really. Okay? Some translations say, you know, let there be light. And I saw one translation, only one of them, said, let him be light. Who's that? Oh, yeah. Okay. So I thought about this. How many hours are in a day? You know, and the default answer is, well, it's 24, of course, you know. Not so. Jesus said, how many hours are there not? 12 hours in a day, right? So I thought about that. I go, what does he mean? There's 24 hours in a day, right? The clock goes all the way around, you know, from morning till evening till night, you know. I go, I see what he says. The separation, that moment in time, there's 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of darkness, right? They're not always exactly completely 12 and 12, but there was a separation. 12 hours appointed to each day and night. So when you say how long is a day, it's only 12 hours. Because how long is night? 12 hours. All right. So what am I getting to? Okay. There's good angels and spirits. And there's bad angels and bad spirits. A third of the angels rebelled and fell. That means 2/3, or 23, 2/3 are still there. All right. Now, who created everything? God did. Okay. So, There's things outside of our vision of sight in this reality, okay, in the real world, as people say it, and there's things we cannot see, and there's things we cannot hear. There's things we cannot perceive if operating in the fleshly world. There's the spirit. God says that we are to worship him in spirit and in truth. Okay? There's spiritual world far greater than the physical world. Genesis chapter 2, verse 1. Thus the heavens and the earth and all the host of them were finished. Another translation puts it a little differently. This is the New Living Translation. It says, so creation of the heavens and the earth and everything in them was completed on the seventh day. Then he rested. Okay? So, not only did God create heavens and the earth, but everything in them. Now, what's everything? All the fleshly things, because you can read that in Genesis chapter 1, where he created all the animals and the fish and the birds and the sea, and, he created man in his image, and said, be fruitful and multiply, and, right? Created plants and seeds. So, what is this getting at? Well, in Chronicles, 2 Chronicles, chapter 18. How do we know there's spirits out there? They're there. Jesus talked about the wind. He said, what is he? You can't see the Holy Spirit, but you can perceive it there. You can see the wind moving the tree branches. You can't see the wind, right? So, what has this got to do with 2 Chronicles chapter 18? Two kings, Jehoshaphat and Ahab, right? In 2 Chronicles 18, verse 3, so Ahab, the king of Israel, and Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, right? There was a division, northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. Southern kingdom was Judah, northern kingdom was Israel, okay? The two kings get together, and they wanted to go to war. And so the king says, hey, don't you got any prophets that, prophesy and tell you what's going to happen? So, yeah. King Israel had 400. And they all told him what he wanted to hear. Go to war, you will win, it'll be great, yay! Okay. The king of Judah, Jehoshaphat, said, do you have any prophet of the Lord? Because all the other prophets were yes men. Because most of the times the king like, I don't like what, off with your head. Okay. So Ahab says, yeah, I got one, but he always says evil things about me, right? Never says anything good. His name was Micah. Okay, the prophet Micah and the book of Micah. Okay, so look at this and going, Ahab's like, yeah, he never says positive things. He's not a yes man, see, right? So, but he's blaming the prophet, even though the prophet's going to say, whatever God tells him, I'm going to tell you. Not realizing, dude, you're doing wrong. You're not doing what's right in the eyes of God. And how do I know this? Well, 2 Chronicles 18, verse 13. And Micah says, as the Lord lives, whatever my God says, I will speak. He stood up to a king and said, God says this is what I'm saying. I am not going to placate it or just say nice things pleasant things that you want to hear, that everything's groovy. Go ahead, go to war, go to Ramoth Gilead, and you will conquer and you will be prosperous, and, The Lord will deliver the king into your hands. That's what the other prophets were saying. And Micah was, it's 400 to 1. He's like, no, right? And he tells them in advance. You know, he even kind of mocked them, said, yeah, go ahead, do what they say. You know, you'll be, oh, yeah. And the king gets mad, right? And he says, and even then the king didn't listen to Micah. When Micah's like, you're going to die. Don't do this. He could have repented and prayed to God and say, is this real? Is this true? Whatever, you know. And he got his answer. Well, he chose to be a disobedient. This is sin. Okay? So what was the vision that Micah had told him? 2 Chronicles chapter 18, verses 18. Now 18 and 18 is 36. Okay, so then Micah said, therefore hear the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne, and all the hosts of heaven standing on his right hand and his left. And the Lord said, who will persuade Ahab, the king of Israel, to go up that he may fall or die at Ramoth Gilead? That's where he wanted to go make war. So one spoke in this manner, another spoke in that manner. Then a spirit came forward and stood before the Lord and said, I will persuade him. And the Lord said to him, in what way? Like he didn't know. This is for us, right? So he said, I will go out and be a lying spirit in the mouth of all the prophets. And the Lord said, you shall persuade him and also prevail. Go and do so. See, this is where nothing happens without the permission of God, right? And he's saying, you will prevail. This will happen. Well, didn't they tell the king, yeah, we're going to tell you what you want to hear. It's going to be great, right? They were lying because Micah said what God said. It's like, you will die this day, right? So in 2 Chronicles 18, verse 22, therefore look, the Lord has put a lying spirit in the mouth of these prophets of yours, and the Lord has declared disaster against you. The Lord declared this. And when he declared it, it's going to happen, right? Now you can go read on. I'm not going to go on too long. You know, he tried to fake it out and put on the clothes of a regular person in the army, right? And he put the king's clothing, right, on someone else. He tried to disguise himself to hide his sin, and he died. Okay? Now, you can see later on that Jehoshaphat was saved because, okay, we'll just go to 31, right? 2 Chronicles 18, verse 31. And so it was when the captains of the chariots saw Jehoshaphat, they said, it is the king of Israel. Therefore they surrounded him to attack. But when Jehoshaphat cried out and the Lord helped him, God diverted them from him. See, the hand of God is moving this stuff. He also had that other spirit go and lie through the prophets. Okay, so everything's happening in the spirit world, but it's manifesting in the real world, right? So now, 2 Chronicles 18, verse 33. Now a certain man, not just any man, but a certain man, he was chosen, right? Because God said, you will prevail, right? And now a certain man, excuse me, drew a bow at random and struck the king of Israel between the joints. Just kind of happened, woo, and stabbed him, and he died. It all came true. And their spirits manifesting and maneuvering in the background. Love you guys. See you in the next video. Seek Jesus today. Not much time left.